Welcome, everyone, to the start of a brand new season of the AT&T Cup Series. We're glad you're with us. It all starts with the Budweiser Shootout here tonight. Exciting times on board for everybody. 28 cars, pole sitters, champions, ready to get this season started in earnest here tonight. Your starting grid, pretty straightforward here. Carissa Everett, inheriting that famous number 3, will start on the front row alongside another former champion, Kyle Weber, who will sit on the outside of row 2. Random draw determining the 28 cars as they start here tonight. Max Kuhn and BK Glover sit in row number 2. Sonia Walker and Victor Oldham III in row 3 ahead of Wyatt Jones and Matteo Snellen. Carmen, Sienna, and Kira Rigney make up the top 10 here tonight. Darrell Everett Jr., Satomi Ray, they are in row 6. Ben Harrington and Albert Nash in row 7. And looking further down the running order here, Brian Pinnell and Celeste Sullivan in row 8. Levi Allison and Fred Jones make up row 9. Brent Jordan and Caitlin Hunter make up row 10 ahead of Zoe Black and Shane Mendoza, who make up row 11, starting 21st and 22nd in the field. Ciara Christensen and Riley Dominguez in row 12. Roberta Crown Jr. and Carson Rhodes will share row 13. Thomas Rogers, returning to the series, will start in row 14 alongside, for the first time, the reigning and defending IndyCar World Champion Evangeline Porter, who will round out this field 28th and last at the start. We're glad you're with us for all the fun that'll come from the Budweiser Shootout. It is time to get the party started. So let's begin here in Daytona. Almost showtime here tonight. Everyone waiting to get started. As we get ready to go racing here, the Budweiser Shootout underway. We welcome everyone to the new era of AT&T Cup Series racing on CBS to get this season underway. Carissa Everett taking over from her father. Darrell Everett retiring following the 2022 season. Well, the only car for Robert Carver Racing in this field.
Start your engines!
As you hear the command to fire engines for the first time this season underway. 28 cars set to do battle. Brand new 7th generation stock car. One of our shots we have ready to go here. As we get ready to go racing. Toyota Camry ZSE pace car will lead the field to green for this Budweiser shootout. Seventh generation stock car, first time in use in the United States. Has been featured elsewhere during the 2.5-year layoff there. The holdout finally over in the United States. Has been used in Australia, has been used in Europe, has been used in Canada and Mexico, but has not been used in the United States and has not been used at a track as big as Daytona International Speedway. The World Center of Racing comes alive to the sound of thunder. 750 horsepower behemoths, 3,500-pound machines. The pace car is in, and the green flag flies. The shootout is underway. Three segments to the Budweiser shootout, 30 laps the first two, 20 laps the final stage. Everett leads. That's the 22 of Max Kuhn, and the 22 on the outside lane will stay there. Here comes the 60, Sonia Walker. Wyatt Jones, see if he slots in to the bottom lane. In front of Glover. He decided to stay topside. There he goes. Moves to the bottom. Everett leads lap 1. Ahead of Walker and Sienna. Wyatt Jones in front of Glover. He has won the shootout before. Would love another shootout and would love the $1 million bonus. He's going to move to the inside of Sonia Walker, the two former champions, second and third. Jones with no help. Sienna will drop to the bottom. Get to the inside of Glover. And here comes Sienna. Made a look. Wyatt Jones. Ever the savvy plate racer, 3-time Daytona 500 winner. Covered it off initially and couldn't cover it off in the turn 1. Everyone figuring things out here. We have not tested during that layoff period. So these drivers, these teams in the unknown, unless they were able to race, in Australia or in Canada or in Mexico. Only a couple ovals would have been on that selection list that would give any resourceful data. You'd be looking at the Lausitz Ring in Germany. You'd be looking at maybe Calder Park in Australia. Both of those flatter, neither of them as long as Daytona. This kicks off the run of form at Daytona in earnest. 3 wide, 2 rows. In the middle, Satomi Ray for Sunrise Motorsports and Sonia Walker getting ready to make that 3x3. 3 wide, 3 deep. With Thomas Rogers now stuck in the middle. Out of turn 4. It is still Everett that leads the way over Sienna and that's the 19 of Levi Allison. Zoe Black up to 4th. Roberta Crown inside lane looking to advance past the 45 of Brent Jordan. Wyatt Jones shuffled high side. Will drop out of the top 10. Everyone trying to dial in these cars. First time on the racetrack here at Daytona. For these 28 teams and drivers, very valuable experience. Not only are they getting valuable experience on the racetrack, they are getting valuable race time. The track opens to the entire 60-car entry list tomorrow. And you've got Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday to try to get these cars dialed in before pole qualifying on Wednesday and the duels on Thursday. Chris Everett, obviously the RCR cars have always been strong here at Daytona, so have the DEI cars. But don't look now. Here comes Sonia Walker to the inside of Chris Everett's number 3. And the former series champion from 2021 gets out in front ahead of Kira Rigney. Rigney in the 80. Stays topside, has no way to get back down. Here comes former Rookie of the Year, Riley Dominguez. In the 68 for Faceporia. New team, not a new driver, and here comes Dominguez to the front. Support from Rogers and from Wyatt Jones. He's shuffled back to the front. And there'll be 3 wide for the front of the field into turn 3. Remember, caution comes out on lap 30 to end segment 1. This is the only nighttime event here at Daytona in Speed Weeks. Wyatt Jones out in front, Glover behind. Wyatt Jones full-time in the Champ Car World Series. Same with Glover, same with Porter, who is also shuffled to the top 10 in that number 81 car. But also racing in the Daytona 500. Glover's got to race his way into the 33. Porter is got a good shot. So does Wyatt Jones. I had to catch myself for a second because everyone has to race their way into the 500. Unless you qualify on the front row on Wednesday, there are no provisionals. Horizon Corporation announced at the start of the month, due to the prolonged holdout for the teams and the drivers, there would not be a provisional list this year. So it'll be the Wild West for the first 5 races of 2025. After the first 5 races, the top 35 in points are locked in each event, and it's an ever-updating list. But the first 5 races, it is open floor to everybody. Nobody's safe. Local Motorsports showing some trouble further back, and caution is out. For the first time in 2025, a huge crash. Hunter, Zoe Black, Penn Harrington, Porter, that is Crown. Mateo Snellen. Looks like some damage there for the 2 of Thomas Rogers. Over half a dozen cars involved in a big way here on lap 10. We're now on lap 11. So let's take a look at what happened. They were 3 wide further back. Mateo Snellen, the furthest forward in this conversation. Almost 4 wide. They're going to be 4 wide. Already contact there between Crown and Darrell Everett Jr. And they just couldn't make it work all the way through. It's like Carolina gets through that with very minimal issue there. Huge damage on multiple cars there. Now pit stop's happening for the first time. This does not affect the segment, which still ends on lap 30. See pit lane, a busy place. So a few retirements already confirmed here. Porter out. Zoe Black is out. Snellen, Crown all out. 4 cars dropped at the first hurdle. Let's see Ben Harrington trying to keep himself rolling. Same with Caitlin Hunter. A completely destroyed race car there with the 9. Wyatt Jones out in front here at the World Center of Racing. Commercial-free coverage here of the Budweiser Shootout here on CBS. Again, we're glad you're with us for the start of the season. Wyatt Jones leads the way. First caution of the season, a multi-car crash that has seen 4 cars out. Zoe Black, Matteo Snellen, Roberto Crown Jr., Evangeline Porter all out. 1 lap down for Penn Harrington and other cars wounded in a 9-car incident. That could have been worse. But it is Wyatt Jones at the front, followed by the 45 of Brent Jordan, the 23 of Victor Oldham III, the 48 of Shane Mendoza. There's Levi Allison in the 5th spot, Carissa Everett, your pole sitter, based on the random draw, in 6th, Ciara Christensen in 7th, Satomi Ray in 8th, 9th, Riley Dominguez, Celeste Sullivan in 10th, Sonia Walker in 11th, Carson Rhodes 12th, Kyle Weber 13th, BK Glover in 14th, 15th, Kira Rigney, 16th, Thomas Rogers, Fred Jones in 17th, 18th, Ryan Pinnell, Albert Nash for Peters Racing in 19th, 20th is Carmen Sienna, 21st, Max Kuhn, Dale Everett Jr. in 22nd, 23rd is Caitlin Hunter. Obviously, 24th, Penn Harrington, a lap down, but you see the damage on other cars here further back in the pack. Caitlin Hunter, completely without a rear end, no rear bumper there at all. Dale Everett Jr. had a piece of that contact as well. So did the 22 of Max Kuhn and the 96 of Carmen Sienna. I believe a little piece of concern for the 17 of Albert Nash. And Ryan Pinnell also getting a piece of it, getting doored through the contact. So 11 cars in total is what we're counting. As we get ready to go racing, once again, the lights on the Toyota pace car are out, which means we are going green at the end of this lap to get back racing. And you see him getting ready to double file to get ready to go. So it's Jones and Jordan at the front of the field to get us ready to go. Pace car is in. Green flag flies, and away we go. We're racing once again in Daytona. Got it. Takes a lap or so to get these cars fully up to speed. See some of the cars struggling there. That is Everett Jr., Hunter, as we expected, and Harrington all struggling to keep touch at the front. 3 wide already. As Brent Jordan gets shuffled backwards, here comes Oldham to the front of the field, followed by Allison. Jones, the 25, dispatched by his teammate and now by the fourth generation driver, Levi Allison. Here comes the 66 of Dominguez. Support from Carissa Everett. Sonia Walker goes middle 3 wide at the front of the field. And don't count out Satomi Ray. After spending time with Crystal Cove Racing, now with Sunrise Motorsports in that Honda Civic. Very tight quarters there. Sonia Walker tried clearing herself across the nose of the 4, couldn't do it. "21 cars in this lead pack. Trying to get to lap 30. And here comes Carissa Everett back to the front. One-on-one with Oldham. They are 3 wide behind. Tommy Ray being pushed by the 80 Acura Rigney. A pair of Hondas trying to move forward. There's a Mercedes of the Dodson Hill racing team. That is Carson Rhodes in the 41. And they will sail 3 wide into turn 1 for second. Here comes Rigney, former Daytona 500 winner. Has yet to win a shootout. And now trying to catch up to the 3 of Carissa Everett. More cars getting the struggle, showing the signs that they've also got a little bit of damage from that lap 10 caution. Fred Jones struggling a little bit. Everett leads another lap here to kick us off to start lap 19. Three wide. Further back in the middle is Allison and Jones. Not the most fruitful endeavor further back. We march forward here. 11 to go in stage 1 here in the Budweiser Shootout. And here comes Victor Oldham the third back to the front. $1 million on everyone's mind. Six manufacturers in the fold, with the inclusion of Honda and Mercedes joining the existing manufacturers Dodge, Chevrolet, Toyota, and Ford. Ford at the front, Honda in second, Mercedes in third, Toyota in fourth, Dodge in fifth. And Chevrolet also in the top 6 with Everett. So all 6 manufacturers present near the front of the field. Here comes Mendoza to the bottom in that Lowe's 48. Glover in the 33, sitting top 5. He is in 5th at the moment behind Sienna. See the 2 wounded cars here. They can be a factor with 9 laps to go in stage 1. Here comes Sienna to the bottom, to the inside of Carson Rhodes. Spread out just a little bit at the front. Still a little bit haywire further back as Carissa Everett moves to the middle, 3 wide. In between Dominguez and Pinnell. Gets a little bit of help from Albert Nash. 17 for Peters Racing. There's 2 cars for that team, only 1 in this race. Jacob Shangle, the rookie, will take on the 16. We'll see him on track for practice tomorrow, as we will for all 60, trying to take part in the 63rd Daytona 500. And for the first time in over 50 years, nobody safe for the Great American Race. Very reminiscent of Indianapolis 500 qualifying. No guarantees, no provisionals. Fastest 40 make it in. Sienna up to 2nd, around Rigney. Friends off the track, fierce competitors on the track. And here goes Rigney, the 80, to the inside lane. Sienna doesn't do much to fight it off at the moment. Everyone's still in the figure-it-out phase of the shootout. Can Rigney get support to get around the 23 at Oldham? That 23 car, one of the best on the restrictor plates. Both Logan Motorsport cars are really good. Wyatt Jones dropped all the way back to 21st, back all the way to the top 5 already. Same with Riley Dominguez. Again, everyone trying to figure out where we're at here. Six laps to go in stage 1. You see the lap cars about to be in the pathway of the race leaders, so it'll be interesting to see how they handle this. They're going to have to check up a lot here. Worst place to be. Feels like they just went under caution, but they're not. They're just stuck with nowhere to go. That's the worst feeling in the world, and you know that they're not able to go anywhere. Got him shuffled to the outside lane. Unfortunately, it hurts Rigney, it hurts Dominguez, and it hurts Max Kuhn the most. Not where they want to be coming to the end of the first segment here. You see Darrell Everett Jr. also on the threat of being put a lap down. by the leaders. Coming to 3 to go. It is Oldham, Allison, and Tommy Ray. Here comes Ryan Pinnell in that number 12 for Royalty Racing. Once again, the field has to check up 4-lap traffic. Here comes Tommy Ray and Ciara Christensen on the outside lane. And the door shuts. And now the inside lane once again has the clean air. Oldham, Allison. Pinnell, it looks like Jordan might have a chance in that 45. Carissa Everett, in the 3. Thomas Rogers in the 2. Wyatt Jones in the 25. He's got it clear. Mendoza, Sienna, Jordan, and more. Getting free and clear here. Now, what Everett Jr. did is he allowed the likes of Rigney, the likes of Glover and Kuhn and Dominguez, the ability to catch up to this lead pack. They weren't in danger of going a lap down anyways, but it allowed them to catch up and try to gain positions here before the end of stage 1. Meanwhile, Chris Everett and Victor Oldham III side by side. Here comes Wyatt Jones in the conversation, the 25. This is the white flag. We have reached the end of stage 1. Wyatt Jones leads Everett and Allison. So the lights are on, indicating that the stage ends at the line. They are racing back to the end of the stage, and it's going to be Wyatt Jones pretty heavily out in front. Allison second, Everett third, Sienna fourth. Whoa, trouble. Allison back and forth and in front of Thomas Rogers after making contact with Sienna. But that'll bring stage 1 to a close. Darrell Everett Jr. will be the free pass recipient here as we get ready to go and reset for stage 2. Jones wins the race off pit lane. Allison getting some repair work done. So as we get ready to reset, we'll stand by for the restart of stage number 2 here in the Budweiser Shootout. Don't go anywhere. More to come after this. Welcome back, everyone, to the Budweiser Shootout here. We are getting ready to start stage number 2. We're glad you're with us to get everything underway here in this second stage. So let's go ahead and let's get ready to get back into the racing here. We're going to be restarting with 22 cars on the racetrack. The 9 of Caitlin Hunter and the 21 of Penn Harrington have pulled it behind the wall. Their day is done here in the shootout. They'll be back on track again tomorrow for practice. Wyatt Jones, Carissa Everett, front of the field as we get ready to get underway. Stage 2 will end on lap 65. Levi Allison, after that incident coming to the caution, has gone a lap down for repairs of his own. The green flag flies and away we go. And immediately, Victor Oldham jumped at the opportunity to try to get to the race lead once again. So teammates side by side at the front of the field. Jones has a little bit more help there waiting for him. Oldham has the shortest way around. Here comes Everett. Everett goes to the bottom of the racetrack. Wyatt Jones to third. Top 3, single file. It is even Stevens at the front of the field in terms of laps led. 11 laps led for Oldham, 11 laps led for Jones, 10 laps led for Everett. Brent Jordan, Thomas Rogers, and Sonia Walker have all led a lap apiece. They are the other race leaders here in the shootout so far. Everyone trying to dial these cars in, making adjustments during the pit stops. They've had 2 opportunities now on lap 10 and on lap 32. And you see Levi Allison returning back on the racetrack. We talked about the damage that he had received. They have had to go and do more repairs on the 19 car. Oldham leads the way. Everett, Jones, and then the 66 of Dominguez and the 41 of Carson Rhodes. Top 5 have broken away. Ryan Pinnell, Shane Mendoza, Albert Nash. There's the 87 of Ciara Christensen. You got Max Kuhn there, the 22. The 33 of BK Glover's in that conversation. There's the 11 of Celeste Sullivan. Everyone's spanning out and really kind of separating a little bit there. There's Thomas Rogers. He's lost touch a little bit. The 8 of Darrell Everett Jr. looks like he's ailing. The 86 of Fred Jones looks like he's ailing. Looks like Vanel's joined in this top 5 conversation to make it the top 6. And they have left this group behind. Shouldn't be a surprise. The Lubbock Motorsports team pretty well in tune with where they need these cars to be. I think it is surprising, though, that they're the only team that has it pretty well universally figured out. Royalty Racing, that 3-car team, the 2, the 12, and the 22, not on the same page. The 12's got it figured out. The 2's got issues of its own, and the 22 is at the very tail end. Carson Rhodes up to second as Dominguez and Wyatt Jones sit in that battle for third with Carissa Everett. Faceporia, not a stock car team. A Greek team started out in open wheel, has raced in the Champ Car system. 1-car effort with Dominguez behind the wheel after Dominguez spent 2 seasons with Robert Carver Racing in their 31-car program. They picked up the Rookie of the Year from 2021. And said, have at it. But they've got it figured out, looks like, so far. At least it looks like they got it figured out a little bit. They're sitting in this top 4. They're sitting comfortably with a lot of heavy hitters on the plate tracks. Wyatt Jones, 3-time Daytona 500 winner. He has won every plate race under the sun here in the Cup Series. Victor Oldham, he has won everything but the 500, it feels like. He has not won the shootout either. He has won one of the Gatorade duels. So he's won the duels. He's won the July race, the Pepsi 400. He's won at Talladega. Yeah, Chris Everett, that 3-car has won everything here at Daytona. Everett's won in the National Series. Carson Rhodes, relative newcomer, has not excelled here before, but Dotson Hill Racing has. That team has won the July race at Daytona, so they're pretty successful here at night. And then Royalty Racing has won here before. Last time they won the 500 was back in 2008. So it's been a hot second since they have found success in the Great American Race, but they have won here. Oldham leads the way, and Wyatt Jones trying to follow suit. Remember that the second stage ends on lap 65. And that'll get us into the final 20-lap segment. That'll go from lap 70 to lap 90. Small breakaway, trying to build up here. It is Walker and Sienna, the 60 and the 96. There's Kyle Weber. There is Celeste Sullivan, the 11. 22 of Max Kuhn, as I mentioned. His teammate, Pinnell, up at the front. He is in the mid-pack. There's some heavy hitters here, too. Kira Rigney's in this mid-pack. Sonia Walker is. Sienna is. Bryn Jordan is in this mid-pack. You got Christensen. You got Sullivan. On his lonesome now, it's the 17 of Albert Nash. He has lost touch with the draft, as has this group of 4. It's Allison, that is Everett, Rogers, and Fred Jones. So a 4-car group there clustered together. case you're wondering, 202 miles an hour is the top speed we've seen so far. Oldham has now led for 22 laps here in the shootout. Six cars have got it figured out at the front of the field. Everyone else trying to figure out how to catch up to him now. There's Sullivan catching up to Sienna, getting around the 96. And Sienna goes right to the inside lane, goes right to yellow line to try to get that position back. But the more that they fight, the harder it's going to be for them to catch up. Because the front two in this group have not had to fight too awful hard. Oldham and Rhodes sitting first and second. Everett and Jones have cycled through front and back here in this mini group. But the front of the field has largely been able to sort of keep themselves at arm's distance. Here comes Everett. Wyatt Jones trying to side draft there with Dominguez and Pinnell. Rhodes goes side by side with Everett once again, but again, they're leaving the 23 untouched, and so the 23 is acting as the caboose of this train at the front of the field, and it's allowing them to continue to sort of expand their gap. It is now 4 seconds between front group and the mid-pack. They've got a similar idea with Sonia Walker, but they have more cars. And they just aren't quite getting to the same speed as the leaders here. The leaders are touching 201, 202 miles an hour. 197 is the max that Sonia Walker can get to at the moment because she's too far ahead of this group that's battling side by side 3 wide. She doesn't have the same level of help. They're able to get to that speed, 201 miles an hour across the line for this group. But because they're fighting so heavily, Sonia Walker can't get there. She is on an island out in front. Now this could pose a problem. 3 wide for third. And again, it's all semantics at the moment because you do get that final stage break here on lap 65 to sort of bring everyone back together, but it doesn't bode well with how things are looking at the moment. It's quickly becoming a 2-car show at the front with Rhodes hanging on to the coattails of Oldham. Jones has gotten to third place. Then Ryan Pinnell in fourth. Couldn't shut the door on Everett. So we'll see how this all pans out. Less than 15 to go in the second stage. There's a 4-car cluster that is going to be on the radar of the race leaders. It's almost a 5-car cluster because there's Albert Nash. And it's a pretty big gap. And you see there's the leaders. Jones and Everett getting to the combination here. They get ahead of Carson Rhodes. And Everett wants to go to second place. Would like to get to the front of the field if possible. But it has been the Victor Oldham show. He is going to lead 30 laps here before we get to lap 55. He has led over half of the laps completed so far in this race. Levitt Motorsports proving that they are going to be a problem here this Speedweeks. They'll have a third car with them for the first time, the 24 of Violet Hale. Will be part of the conversation beginning tomorrow. And there's no reason to believe that Hale won't also be in the same conversation as Jones and as Oldham. Everyone shuffling at the front of the field. Not a lot of shuffling for the 7th spot. Sonia Walker is there and now has a direct link with Kira Rigney, the number 80. And they have pulled away from this group once again as Sienna battles with Glover, battles with Christensen. The moment that Walker gets help of any sort, walks away from that group. Obviously, Sonia Walker, former champion of the series. Rigney, a Daytona 500 winner. They know what success looks like. They just have not been able to touch the race leaders at the moment. The pace that Oldham's been able to set. Levitt Motorsports just have something unlocked here at the moment with this new car. They looked okay in the opening stanza. It wasn't until this stage that they've really stretched their legs out a little bit, but they're not the only ones. You have Everett. This team, while have been strong historically, have not been strong recently at Daytona. You have Dominguez, a brand new team that have never been here. Same with Royalty Racing. They have not had success here recently. Last major success was back in 2008. And Dawson Hill Racing have not had success since the mid-2010s here. Gap between the lead pack and the mid pack is 6.5 seconds. Saw the gap there just from where the leaders are compared to the rest of the field. Oldham continues to lead. Walker and Rigney continue to pull away from the rest of the group in the mid-pack. At 7th and 8th, you're looking at that's pulled away from Brent Jordan and everybody else. Jordan, Christensen, Ray, Mendoza, Sullivan, Sienna, Glover, Weber, and Kuhn. Jordan has pulled away from this group as well. Got to the draft of Kira Rigney and has said goodbye. And has left the mid-pack to their own devices. 6 to go in stage 2. And here was the concern that was coming up. Lap cars, and 5 of them at the front. And they're all trying to stay on the lead lap to some degree, except for Levi Allison. He's already 2 laps down. Everett Jr. and Fred Jones will go a lap down, and that'll be their first lap down after Everett Jr. got his lap back on the first stage break. And the top 6 will have to navigate as well. That is Nash, that's Rogers, and Allison, who went a lap down in pit lane and went a second lap down on the green flag, returning to pit lane for more repair work. The teammates will choose different lanes here in an attempt to find the right one. No one's super keen on going 3 wide except for Dominguez. Dominguez goes bottom of the racetrack. But they are blockaded in by the lap cars. Wyatt Jones won the opening stanza, won stage 1. Grabbed a nice little $100,000 bonus. Who's going to grab the $100,000 bonus for stage 2? Pinnell's gotten to the front of the field. Everyone trying to maneuver around Levi Allison, who's got pace. He is not off the pace compared to the other cars. Still a little bit of damage on the 19 car, though. You see the right side, the passenger side of that 19 car, still all beat up. Carson Rhodes out in front, looking for the $100,000 bonus. With 3 to go in stage 2. Oldham knows it's time to move. And so he's going to try to set sail. Here comes Pinnell to the inside of Dominguez. But here come the Lovett Motorsports teammates. They're going to put it 3 wide. Jones and Oldham nose to tail on the bottom of the racetrack. Dominguez drops to 5th. Pinnell will drop to 4th. And the 2 Lovett Motorsport cars know that it is time to go. This is coming to the end of stage 2. Can either of them stop Carson Rhodes? Not going to be enough. Rhodes will win stage 2 and grab the $100,000 bonus. But the Lovett Motorsports teammates gave it a good shot there at the end. First car a lap down will be the 17 Albert Nash. He will get his lap back via the free pass. That allows the field a chance to reset. So as the field gets ready to reset, so will we. We're set aside for a quick reset, and we will be back for more of the Budweiser Shootout Stage 3 underway to end out the sit here in Daytona. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone, to the Budweiser Shootout. We are about to go back racing here at Daytona International Speedway for the final stage. 20 laps in front of the drivers for $1 million as we get ready to get back underway. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. I'm ready to double file here. With the field getting ready to go. It is Glover. It is Oldham at the front of the field. Rhodes, Jones, row 2. Pinnell, Dominguez, row 3. As we get ready to go racing again, green flag flies. The final stage is underway in the Budweiser Shootout. And everyone trying to get themselves in position here. They've had one more chance to get those cars dialed in for the end of this stage. 20 laps to get to the end. And the gaps reset. Glover to the front. Then it's Oldham and Jones. Victor Oldham led 39 laps so far. Glover has led now his 4th lap. Jones has led 10. Everett's led 10. How frequent does the lead change here in this last stanza? We'll find out. Teammates. Nose to tail, 2nd and 3rd. It is Oldham ahead of Jones. But everyone thinking about the $1 million. .202 entering turns 3 for Glover and company. Walker and Pinnell battling for 4th. This is the put up or shut up time at the front of the field. Glover leads the way ahead of 2 Loaded Motorsport teammates that both won $1 million and have both been successful at the Speedway. Everyone's first endeavor so far has appeared to be successful. Although question marks remain on how much this will change between now, not only in Wednesday for pole qualifying, but the duels on Thursday, which will be in the daytime. Seems pretty straightforward for the race leader to be able to control both lanes at the moment. Seems you need to have a really good race car underneath you to try to get to that race lead. A lot of dissecting will go through for the cars in this field tonight to figure out how they can make things better. Give themselves a leg up on the rest of the field. Trying to qualify into the Great American Race. Here comes Wyatt Jones to the front of the field. Support from Carissa Everett. Carissa to the front of the field. There's the 22 of Kuhn. And then the 80 of Kira Rigney. Rigney has won at the 500. She has won the Pepsi 400 in July. She has not won a Budweiser Shootout. Can she add that to her resume? Here comes Tommy Ray. Car 4 up to second. Here comes Sonia Walker. Some new faces beginning to put themselves forward here. Further back, dropping back. Obviously the cars that were a lap down before. Albert Nash and company. Kyle Weber's been dropped back. So is Brent Jordan and Ciara Christensen. They now are in need of help. And Carson Rose may be in need of help too. He is losing touch. Olden back to the front with support from Sienna and from Pinnell. But the laps are ticking away more and more. Coming to 12 laps to go. Sienna and Pinnell, front of the field. Sienna leads a lap for the first time tonight. Pinnell now looking to lead his first lap, and he's going to have a lot on his hands to try to do so. Here comes Jones, here comes Kuhn, and Mendoza. Front three at the bottom. And this lead's about to change hands pretty frequently. Jones controlling all three lanes. His teammate in the middle. No support for him so far. Can Wyatt Jones win his third shootout? Looking for his fourth Daytona 500 on Sunday. If he can get through qualifying in the duels this week. Here comes Mendoza, the 48. Bottom of the racetrack looks to the inside of the 22. Mendoza jumping in front of Glover, the 33. What about Sullivan, the 11? Does she drop to the bottom of the racetrack before the door shuts by Satomi Ray? Yes, she does. 23-year veteran in the Cup Series, Sullivan. Trying to move forward. Rigney, middle three wide. Losing support quickly. Slots in front of the 41 of Rhodes. Side by side, it looks like for the race lead here, it's going to be Glover and Jones. And Glover gets out front with support from Carissa Everett. Sullivan in fourth behind Wyatt Jones. Here comes Kira Rigney in the 80. Glover gets back to the bottom of the racetrack, blocks the three. trying to control both lanes. I think that 3 and the 80 are pretty well hooked up, though. Glover tries to shut the door into turn 1. Can't do it. 9 to go in the shootout. This is Everett's second ever shootout, racing the one in 2022. Here comes Kira Rigney, the 80. Everett led that lap, but the clock is ticking away. 8 laps to go. Rigney, Everett, Walker, your top 3. There's Oldham. Keep it on that 23 car, that McDonald's machine. He has led the most laps of anyone tonight. 39 laps led. He would love to win $1 million for the first time. Here comes Everett. No support from the 60 of Walker, but support from the 23 of Oldham and from the 25 of Jones. Chris Everett inheriting the car that her father made famous across his 40-year career. Trying to bring the same level of success in fame as a third-generation driver for the Everett family. Her older brother, Dale Everett Jr., a winner of the Great American Race on 2 different occasions. Her father, a winner of this race back in 1998. Dale Everett Sr. won everything here at Daytona. And it is a tough hill to climb in this group. Over a dozen cars fighting for $1 million. 5 laps to go. It is Jones, Pennell at the front of the field, the 25 and the 12. Three Georgia natives in this top 10. Pennell from Good Hope. Walker and Jones from Atlanta in the proper sense. There's Sullivan. That 11 car. This is her 15th Budweiser shootout. She has yet to win the shootout itself. Coming to 3 laps to go. From Coach Parsons Racing, she believed she had retired at the end of 2022. Believed it was done. Emerson Racing approached her and said, hey, we've got a couple of new drivers coming in. Can you be our driver coach this year? She said yes. Fills that 3rd car. Serve as a mentor for Cam Anderson, who will make his debut in practice tomorrow, and to serve as a mentor for Caitlin Hunter, who is in her 5th season, but as we've seen already in the shootout, a rocky start for the 9 car. Coming to 2 laps to go, 5 miles at the line to determine who's going to get $1 million. Here comes Glover for third. Looking at second place at the line, 3 wide further back. That is Mendoza in the middle, Pinnell up near the wall, and you see the lap traffic. Only one car that the field will have to deal with, but Allison will be a factor. Jones, Glover, Sienna, and the 60th Sonia Walker. That's your top 4. Oldham in 5th. And as they approach the 19 of Allison. Through turns 3 and 4, coming to the white flag. Glover's going to take the lead of the race. 1 lap to go here in the Budweiser Shootout. But here comes the 23 into 3. Bottom of the racetrack. The 80 of Rigney, the 22 of Max Kuhn. Glover led the white flag. He will not lead the checker, it looks like here. We're going to be 3 wide through 3 and 4. Here comes Rigney. Here comes car 80. Looking for her first win of the shootout. Out of turn 4 for the final time. Speed Weeks opens with a round of applause. The sound of thunder belongs to Kira Rigney. She will take the $1 million. Max Kuhn finishes in the top 3. So does Carissa Everett. But the $1 million belongs to Kira Rigney. Ahead of Max Kuhn and Carissa Everett. Carson Rhodes and Victor Oldham will round out your top 5 here in the Budweiser Shootout. Absolutely sensational stuff there. Kira Rigney takes the $1 million in a last lap exchange for the lead. Cars, 21 cars on the lead lap at the end here in Daytona as everyone comes back down pit lane. Kira Rigney gets to celebrate $1 million richer to kick off Speed Weeks here in Daytona. And so we'll take a look here at how the top 20 stack up at the end of the race here today. Kira Rigney, your $1 million winner here in Daytona through the Budweiser Shootout. Max Kuhn, Carissa Everett, they round out your top 3. Carson Rhodes and Victor Oldham round out your top 5. Somi Ray, BK Glover, Riley Dominguez, Carmen, Sienna, and Ryan Pinnell round out your top 10. Ahead of Wyatt Jones, Celeste Sullivan, Sonia Walker, Shane Mendoza, Albert Nash, Sierra Christensen, Thomas Rogers, Brent Jordan, Kyle Weber, and Fred Jones. Daytona 500 practice begins tomorrow. We'll be here for all of it on Paramount Plus. Qualifying for the Daytona 500 on Wednesday begins at noon on CBS Sports and on Paramount Plus as well. And then the Gatorade Duels Thursday 4 p.m. on CBS and Paramount Plus. You can stream all of it on Paramount Plus and watch on CBS and its family of networks. We're glad you joined us for the Budweiser Shootout tonight. Kira Rigney, $1 million richer for Razgreaves Racing. But now the work begins as 60 drivers try to make the Great American Race. We'll see you tomorrow from the World Center of Racing. On behalf of everyone here for CBS, stay safe and stay healthy. We'll see you very soon. So long, everybody.